continue to contribute, what we can see from you in the future. Let me ask one question for each of you here. What am I going to see from you in the future?
For me?
Yes.
Well, I'm really excited because I'm writing a book about my experiences on Wall Street, and really the narrative arc of the book is going to be about the real cost of the American dream, of a dream that wasn't really made for me. And so I'm writing this book that's going to come out in September of 2016. And
What's the title?
Well, TBD.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still not sure on what the title is.
What an interesting title.
It's a great title. So it's just GBD, Luisa Arce.
Right,
Beautiful.
yes.
I love that.
So the book is coming out in September, and it's going to be published in English and Spanish simultaneously, which will be really exciting. I'm doing a lot of speaking around the country about immigration and the need for immigration reform, and really the need for immigrants to just be seen as people and as human beings.
I was on a panel with Soledad O'Brien last week,
Yeah.
and that was a beautiful panel. There's so many great stories, and your story was beautiful. So I look forward to seeing all the great things you're doing.
Thank you.
And what a great financial mind. Hollywood needs you. I told you this before.
Yeah,
We need capital.
maybe we'll create a fund to
Yes,
fund
create a
Latino
fund.
projects.
Ronaldo, what are you going to get up to?
Produce.
Yeah.
Because I think the real power is in the stories, what you communicate. And our stories are universal. That's why we have 33, Our Brightest Crisis, Jane the Virgin, all the shows,
Yeah.
all these movies telling our stories.
Well, they haven't invented a new emotion yet. And so I think we have a universal story to tell, and that's beautiful. Good.
I start shooting Devious again in January.
Mm-hmm.
I did a couple of Fresh Off the Boats that'll be coming up. I did a scene in Jane the Virgin that'll be coming up. Just developing a couple of projects with a couple of producers that I'm working on, including my partner in Parenting, Love and Life, George Valencia, who does La Gorda and Sound of Gold, the foundation and animation that I've been discussing, and trying to run the world.
Yeah, very well. I think it's great. I thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And I'm going to open this up to questions now because we like to do that all the time. So, thank you. Now, this is what I consider the best part, is you get to ask any question you'd like, they get to answer it. And that's the communication part. It just can't be us talking to you. So, anyone have any questions? Yes.
Ronaldo, you said you have a nonprofit.
Yes.
What is that?
It's called Changing Stories, and it was founded with Natalie Camilli, who's another Bolivian that works for the Dalai Lama. And the mission is to give voice to those that aren't heard through mostly film. So it's like a production company, but with social themes. And after you get the audience to get the message, go through the journey of the character, there's a plan of action where you can not just watch the film, but also share the information, donate your time, petitions. Yeah.
Sounds like a good nonprofit. I started a profit, but became a nonprofit, so these things happen. That's a good question. And yes, question. Yeah.
I have a question for Julita. In terms of retirement and planning for your future, I know a lot of Latinos, or at least statistically, are trying to plan for their future, but they can't. Can you give us advice on how to better prepare for old age?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. First of all, it's super important that we save, and even if it's a minimal amount, because that money compounds, and every day that you don't save, you're losing money, basically. I think it really, I can't give like really broad advice because each person's circumstances are unique and different. But there are now a lot of resources where you can invest, and you don't have, I think a lot of times we think investing requires like a ton of money for us to be able to invest, and that's not the case anymore. There are a lot of online, really great startups that are helping people invest money, even if it's investing $25, $50 a month. Even with that much money, you can get started with investing. So it's really important to save and invest. And if you're thinking about having kids, there are different plans that you can start even before you have children to start putting money away for your kids. So when they go to college, we're not scrambling, figuring out how we're going to fund our children's education. And I said this before at the Latino, at the Iron Latino tour, which is that a lot of us think like we're just trying to be rich, right? We're just trying to get enough money to buy a car and to buy a house, and we should be thinking like bigger than that. We should be thinking to really be wealthy, because really what matters, I think, what matters in my life is what I leave behind for those that come after me. And whenever I meet people and people say, oh, that person comes from old money, I want one day someone to say of my kid, like, oh, she's from old money. And my grandchildren to be like, oh, like that Latino girl, she's old money. Like I want that to be my legacy.